Your kid starts a sentence. You finish it for them. Wrong ending, but you said it with so much confidence they just nod and let it go rather than correct you for the third time today. That's not a small thing. That's a kid quietly learning their own sentences aren't worth waiting for. None of these habits look like mistakes from where you're standing. They look like helping, like keeping things moving, like being a good parent on a busy day. Here are 10 tiny habits most parents do without noticing that your kid is silently begging you to stop. Number 1. Finishing their sentences. Your kid starts, "Today at school, Jake said," and you jump in with, "He said something mean, right?" Kids can be so, before they even get to the actual point, which was that Jake shared his lunch. You think you're keeping the conversation moving. What you're actually teaching them is that their version of the story is optional because yours arrives faster. Stanford Communication Research shows kids whose sentences get regularly completed by adults take longer to develop confident verbal expression, because why finish a thought someone else is racing to finish for you? The fix is almost insulting in how simple it is. Count to 3 after they pause. Let the silence be theirs to fill, not yours, even when you're almost certain you already know the ending. Number 2, turning "How was your day?" into a checklist. You ask how their day was, and before they answer, you're already following up with, "Did you turn in the permission slip? Did you eat your lunch? Did you talk to the teacher about the thing?" What started as a question about them becomes an audit of their responsibilities. Harvard Family Communication Research found that when the first exchange of the day is administrative instead of personal, kids start treating "How was your day?" as a trap, not an invitation, and their answers shrink to "fine" for self-defense. Ask the boring open question first. Save the permission slip for after they've actually told you something real, even if that means the logistics wait until bedtime. Number 3. Multitasking while they're mid-story. They're explaining something that clearly matters to them, and you're nodding along while unloading the dishwasher, answering a text, glancing at the TV. Your body is a magnificent liar. It performs listening while your attention is somewhere else entirely, and kids can read that gap from across a room. Columbia Attention Research shows kids as young as 5 can accurately tell the difference between being heard and being tolerated based on eye contact alone. What they wish you'd stop doing is pretending. If you genuinely can't listen right now, say so. "Give me 2 minutes" respects them more than a fake nod ever will, and it teaches them that your attention, when it does arrive, actually means something. Number 4. Retelling their private moments to other adults. Your kid tells you something embarrassing, vulnerable, or just personal, and 20 minutes later you're repeating it to your sister on speakerphone while they sit right there, silently reclassifying you as someone who can't be trusted with anything real. Yale Trust Research is direct about this one. Kids who overhear their private disclosures get repeated, even in a loving or funny context. Stop disclosing the next real thing. Before you retell a story that's theirs, not yours, ask them first. "Can I tell Aunt Sarah about the frog thing?" Takes 5 seconds and saves years of them not telling you the next frog thing, because now the story is something you share together instead of something you took. Number 5. The "Are you sure?" That isn't really a question. Your kid picks the blue shirt, the smaller portion, the harder book. You ask, "Are you sure?" in a tone that clearly means you're not sure for them. It sounds neutral. It isn't. MIT decision-making research shows kids who are repeatedly second-guessed after making small choices develop something researchers call decision fatigue by proxy, where they start outsourcing even tiny preferences because trusting themselves has been quietly discouraged every single time. Let the blue shirt be the blue shirt. Save "Are you sure?" for the decisions that actually deserve it, and watch how much faster they start making up their own mind about the small stuff. Quick blinko favor before we keep going because apparently 97% of you watching haven't subscribed. And honestly, at this point, I think you're doing it on purpose. If any of these 10 hit a little too close to home, that button's sitting right there judging you. Already subscribed? You're basically a co-parent at this point, thank you. Onward, because the next one is the habit that quietly teaches kids to perform instead of just be. Number 6. The joke at their expense in front of an audience. Your kid trips, or says something a little off, or has a weird interest, and you turn it into a bit for the room, laughing along with the other adults while your kid stands there half smiling because they don't know if it's safe to be upset about it yet. Northwestern research on family humor found that kids who are regularly the punchline in front of witnesses develop a specific kind of guardedness, where being seen at all starts to feel risky. The fix isn't zero teasing, it's checking afterward. Was that okay, or did that one sting? Ask privately. Actually listen to the answer. Number 7. Assuming the worst before asking what happened. Something breaks, someone's crying, a note comes home from school, and your first move is accusation. What did you do? Not what happened, which leaves room for them to be the one who got hurt, not the one who caused it. University of Washington research on parent-child trust shows that kids who are consistently assumed guilty first stop bringing you the actual story, because why explain yourself to someone who's already decided? Lead with what happened every time, even when your gut says otherwise, especially when your gut says otherwise. Number 8. Bribing the behavior instead of naming the feeling. Your kid melts down in the store, and instead of acknowledging what's actually happening, you offer a candy bar to make it stop. It works in the moment. It also quietly teaches them that big feelings are inconvenient problems to be paid off, not things anyone actually wants to understand. Johns Hopkins emotional development research found that kids who are routinely bribed out of distress show slower development of emotional vocabulary later, because naming the feeling was never the goal. Ending it fast was. Try naming it first. You're really overwhelmed right now. The candy bar can still happen. It just shouldn't be the whole conversation. Number 9. Comparing them to their sibling in the actual moment. Your kid is struggling with something, and instead of meeting them there, you say, "Your brother never used to do this." It's said in frustration, not cruelty, but your kid doesn't hear the frustration. They hear the comparison, permanently. Columbia sibling research shows in-the-moment comparisons land harder and get remembered longer than almost any other parenting phrase because it turns a private struggle into a public ranking. Whatever you're about to say next, if it starts with your other kid's name, just don't finish that sentence. Number 10. And this is the one that undoes an otherwise great parenting day if you get it wrong. Rushing them out of a bad mood. Your kid is sad or sulking or just off, and instead of letting that exist for a minute, you're already saying, "Okay, chin up, let's find your smile," like sadness is a jacket they forgot to take off. Yale emotional regulation research shows kids who are consistently rushed out of low moods learn to hide them faster instead of processing them, which just delays the feeling. It doesn't remove it. Let the bad mood sit in the room for a minute before you try to fix it. Most moods pass faster when nobody's racing them to the finish line. Here's the thing about all 10 of these. None of them look like mistakes in the moment. They look like completing a thought, keeping things moving, lightening the mood, closing the loop. But add them up across 1,000 ordinary days, and they become the quiet lesson that your kid's version of things is negotiable, and yours isn't. You don't need to overhaul how you parent. You just have to leave 3 more seconds of silence than feels natural, and let your kid fill it with something that's actually theirs. Which one of these did you catch yourself doing this week? Tell me below, and if you want the video on the habits that make kids feel like the favorite disappeared overnight, that one's next.